Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Tonight, we are talking about the breaking news in the Sebastian Rogers case. 25 pages of documents has dropped. This is part 2, and we're going to get into those documents and see what they say. A lot to talk about on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace. Smile through pain with a painted face.
Even if you know it.
They called me too loud, too much, too strong. But honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake
A little late night.
but I'll rise again. Just watch me I've been whispered about and written off, judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Let's go.
Hold up, lights on, chat in the room, another late night, and another headline blooming. Coffee gone cold, but the story got heat, and one little detail keep tapping my screen. Coming in clutch, when the timeline bends, we don't just scroll, we connect loose ends. Somebody said, nah, that's probably enough, but the chat said, Justin, we're coming in clutch. Run that back, don't rush that part, something felt wrong from the very first start. Different day, same shaky excuse, and the math ain't mathin' when we check the proof. I'm not here to play detective for fame, I'm here when the story starts changing names. One clip, one call, one post too much, and the whole room knows we're coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, yeah, the facts stay loud. Truth don't hide when we bring the crowd. Screens lit up and the chat don't sleep. We dig real deep where the stories get steep. Pearls in the chat, lights in the back. Somebody better explain why the story went flat. You can dodge one question, maybe dodge two. With the internet clock, what you said don't cue. Wait. Say that again, you said it was there, then it wasn't back then. You said you forgot, but the record got saved. Now the chat's wide awake and the room just changed.
Coming in clutch when it all gets strange, when the facts get buried and the tone starts change. We don't need drama, the truth does enough, that's why they pull up, we're coming in clutch.
Late night crew, yeah, we built this thing. One live stream turned to a whole damn ring. Members in green minds holding it down. Whole chat moving like a small town crowd. No fake hype, no lazy spin, just one more clue and we're back again. If it don't sit right, we don't let it slide. We put the detail right up on live.
Coming in clutch, say it one more time. Whole room locked on the very next line. From the first red flag to the final touch, you know where to be, we're coming in clutch.
When the screen fades out and the night gets still, somebody somewhere knows truth comes real. We'll be right here when the next facts drop. Coming in clutch and we don't just stop.
Wow, hello. Hey, y'all. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time on this Clutch After Dark. I usually don't go on this late, but I can't sleep. So might as well. Might as well, right? I told you guys I would probably come back. I had to run and do some stuff earlier, and we are going to finish up on this part 2 of the new filings out of Tennessee, Sebastian Wayne Drake Roger case. His father, biological father, Seth Rogers, has filed 2 lawsuits claiming that DHS failed Sebastian and did not inform him that anything was going on in the home that he resided in during the week. And we're going to get into all of that stuff. Guys, before we get started, if you would be so kind, please do me a big, big favor and hit that thumbs up button or double tap that screen if you're on the mobile feed. Also, if you would consider sharing this live stream out, hit that share button, copy that link, drop it in any of your favorite social media. And if you would consider hyping this video on YouTube, you get 3 hypes a week. If you don't use it, you lose it. And it has to be after the live stream on a mobile device, your phone, your tablet, or whatever is mobile. Good to see everyone in chat coming in. You little late night owls, you. Hello, Sense of Soul. Good to see you, my friend. Just me. Kiki, do you love me? Green eyes, Ash to the cash. How you doing? You look a poppin' tonight. Well, thank you, darling. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Carol, good to see you, my dear. Miss Holly, how you doing? Lori, good to see you, dear. Susie, Shari, good to see you. Sassy, good to see you, hun. Who else do we got? Lori, man, good to see you, babe. Miss Carol, crazy to the buck. Good to see you, babies. Paul for love. Hi, Justin. I didn't think you were going live again this late. Well, I'm surprised to see you. I'm surprised to see me too, to be honest with you. Good to see you, friend. YouTuber from the land down under. Thank you guys who gifted the jewels. Really do appreciate you. Justin, you look different. What do I look like? Is it worse? Good? It's the lighting. It's the lighting. I've got my lights off in the back and I got my lights in front of me. So that's why. Just me. Good to see you, my friend. Who else do we got in here? I protest. Good to see you. Babs, hi. Hello, everyone. I know you're like, just get it started. Quit saying hello to everybody. But I like to say hello to you guys. I like to say hi. I see you're a night owl like me. Well, I'm usually not live. You know what I mean? Here for a different perspective. I appreciate that, UA. I appreciate that. One thing I want to say is that all opinions are welcome here. I said that in the last live stream that I spoke in. Everyone is allowed their opinion here. At the end of the day, nobody knows where Sebastian is. And that's that. So, just keep it respectful. You can have whatever opinion you want on this. Another thing, this isn't this that we're particularly talking about today. This isn't one side versus the other either. This is Seth claiming that he was not informed by DHS. And that's what it is. It's not, parent against parent or anything like that. And listen, I said earlier, if, for instance, Chris and Katie, if they ended up, suing the state or whatever, and they can prove, just like Seth has to prove in court his argument, more power to him. More power to him. So you guys know where I stand on this case. I support Seth because I consider him a friend. And is he perfect? No, he's not. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I mentioned this earlier as well. All three of these parents, we're not getting them at their best. We're not getting them at their best, right? So, I try to take that into consideration after the fact, like after, heaven forbid a child goes missing or whatever. It's not their best, no matter what happened. Now, I am probably a little bit more judgmental before they went missing on all of that, but that's just me. You're free to have your opinion. I'm one of 8 billion on the planet, just like you are one of 8 billion on the planet, and all of that. So, okay, so we're going to get into some of these documents that, some of you might be interested in this, some of you not, but I guarantee you will learn something that you didn't know in these documents. I am not going to really go into some parts of the documents, specifically a lot into the SA. Just for the simple fact of trying to respect all three parents and Sebastian in that. And I know a lot of you are like, well, this person or this person brought it to the internet, they spoke on it, and this is going to open up a lot of worms, if you will. Anytime a lawsuit happens, there's going to be a lot of things that roll out in this, and some things we will learn, some things we won't. A lot of people are making a big deal about the amount that he is suing for. I don't really care about how much money it is. There is no price on a life, and really, more than anything, Seth just wants answers, and that is what all three parents deserve, right? All three parents should want answers on Sebastian, and that's that. So we're going to get right to it. Oh, by the way, did WSMV put anything else out in the last little bit? Do we know? Did they put anything else out since I've been live last? I want to just see real quick. Did they put anything else? What time? 9:45 p.m. updated. We'll look at it real quick and just to make sure. They did. Hey, Sandwich, good to see you, doll. How you doing? Where was it? Did they put any new videos out? I'll do it like this. How about this? Sebastian Rogers, and we will go past 24 hours. And let's see. 8 hours, 15 hours, 12 hours, 3 hours ago. What's this? Okay, we'll look at this real quick as we've seen a little bit of this, but not too much. We'll just look at this real quick and then we'll go to the next thing. We're going to get into those documents right after this.
could have been much different. That is what the missing teen's father claims in a second federal lawsuit. WSMV4 Investigates first broke the news that the father is also suing the Sumner County Sheriff's Department. Allegedly, they didn't properly investigate his son's disappearance. And this second lawsuit targets the Tennessee Department of Children's Services. Speaking exclusively with WSMV4 investigative reporter Stacey Cameron, Rogers says he learned only after Sebastian disappeared that DCS had twice investigated his son and failed to tell him what was going on.
For nearly 2.5 years, Seth Rogers has searched for answers about what happened to his son. Now he says he's also searching for answers about something that happened before Sebastian disappeared. According to this newly filed federal lawsuit, DCS investigated Sebastian twice, but closed both cases. And Rogers says he was kept in the dark. That left him with a question he can't escape. If he had known everything DCS knew, would Sebastian be safe with him today?
What did I do for him not to tell me that he was scared? I'm supposed to protect him.
It's the question Seth Rogers says he asks himself every day. Not whether he could have found Sebastian, but whether he could have protected him. The lawsuit claims DCS investigated allegations involving Sebastian in 2022, then again in 2023 before.
I am so bad with initials. I don't get it. But what is NB? NB.
Closing both cases without removing him from the Hendersonville home where he lived.
If DCS had talked to you, what would they have learned?
He can come live with me.
Rogers says no one at DCS told him about the extent of those investigations. No one warned him about the abuse allegations. He says that left him with the pain.
So Nick Bare Ass, that's what we call him. That's my nickname for him. Nick Bare Ass.
No one can even.
And earlier, I was so blonde. Guys, earlier I said, why does this say Sebastian Ian Rogers? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? They couldn't fit Sebastian on the top. I just glanced at it. I said, why does it say Sebastian Ian Rogers? Oh my God.
Imagine.
You don't have any clue. Nobody does.
Attorney Darren Ritchie says that's why they filed this lawsuit.
Why would DCS leave Seth Rogers in the dark?
That is unexplainable, and it's unacceptable.
The lawsuit claims DCS documented that Sebastian told investigators he felt safe with his father. It also alleges the agency determined Sebastian met the criteria for a federal program reserved for children considered at serious or imminent risk of removal.
Okay, now again, I explained this little part earlier, but I want to explain this part again. When it says met the criteria for a federal program reserved for children considered at serious or immediate risk of removal, when it means program, it just means that they are eligible to be essentially taken out of the home and going to foster care. That's what it means. A lot of people get this thing confused with the word program. It just means that they are considering taking them potentially out of the home and putting them in foster care. And one thing that Seth is alleging in this program, or in this, in this lawsuit, is that he was not notified about what was going on. They never got in touch with him. Now, if that is true, that's not good, right? And, you know, I think about that. However, they did not allegedly get in touch with Seth. Can you imagine if they took Sebastian out and put him in foster care, you know, and Seth didn't know, you know, when he came to pick up his kid on the weekend or whatever, and his kid was in foster care, that would have been bad.
From their home, but closed both investigations. Richie says, had Rogers known everything DCS was looking at, this story might look very different today.
I don't think that we would be here today talking if they spoke with Seth Rogers. I think Seth would have corroborated how Sebastian was feeling, and I think this would have taken a very different turn.
Now, one thing I will say is that in my opinion, I believe that, well, I'll just say it like this. I've known for a long time that Sebastian, I'll just say allegedly, was eligible to be in foster care. And now it's out, but there's a lot of things that hasn't.
Did anyone ever tell you Sebastian had been considered at serious risk of removal from that home?
Nope.
Then came the moment he says changed everything. Rogers hired a lawyer, got the DCS investigative files, and read it for himself.
They failed my son. They didn't try to protect him at all.
The lawsuit alleges DCS overlooked warning signs, failed to adequately protect a vulnerable child with autism, ADHD, and a rare chromosomal disorder, and denied Seth Rogers the opportunity to intervene before Sebastian disappeared.
Right. So, again, and we can go over this later this evening if we get through all these paperwork and stuff. But I think of Chris. One thing I think of when I think back on this case is, remember, Chris would not say when he was home in the area. And I gotta be careful what I say here, but when did he say? I'm trying to remember what he said. I was at home on the 4th or the 5th or something like that, and he would not put a date on it, which was very interesting to me. Now, I'm not saying this happened in Sebastian's home, but what I am saying is many times DHS, CPS, whatever you want to call it or whatever it's called in your area, they will, rather than remove a child, they can request for what they call the alleged perpetrator or alleged perpetrators to leave the home, and they will do a family plan. While that family plan is going under, that adult or whoever the alleged perpetrator is that the allegations are against cannot be in that home around that child. And yes, yeah, it was at UA the first week of February. Now, I'm not saying that happened in this case, but I do find it interesting that Chris would not specifically give time and dates on that. So was that what was going on? I don't know, but it makes me wonder. I have to be honest with you. Maybe that's he took a job too far and lived in the RV. He did live in the RV. Pink Butterfly. He certainly did. He certainly did.
Rogers says that's the part he struggles with the most.
All these things hurt. All of them hurt. I don't know what's going on with my child. I just know that he's not where he should be.
And the lawsuit raises another question. Seth Rogers had joint custody of Sebastian. His attorney says that meant DCS had a legal duty to keep him informed so he could take action to protect his son if necessary. I asked DCS whether it lived up to that.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that, UA. I need to ask, I need to go over the email that I got from one of the staff members, because the staff one, I'll just say one of the staff members was the one that contacted me and was telling me about Seth, Katie, and Chris all being there at the same time. I keep wanting to think it was like the 9th though, or something like that. Like a few days after the 5th. Okay, I'm refreshing my memory now. I think Chris said he was there at home until the 5th. But I'll look and see when that thing was with the that meeting was.
That responsibility, the agency declined an interview, saying it doesn't discuss specific cases or comment on pending litigation. For WSMV4, I'm investigative reporter Stacey Cameron.
Yes, he did. Okay, so these documents that we have here, I'm going to read them, and I'm going to read some interesting parts here, and we'll give you some of the allegations that they're saying. I told you some of the allegations earlier, but this is more, I'm reading it directly from the documents right here. So the school was in contact with Seth. They should have had his number and contacted with Seth. He was involved in school. I agree. There's something not crossing, you know what I mean, with this. But we got to remember some of these allegations go back to 2022 and 2023, I think it was. All right, so there was, okay, so in this document, this defendant, Boswell, I'm just going to say her last name, was at all relevant times a case manager at DCS in Mid-Cumberland region. Boswell conducted a face-to-face interview with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and the Proudfoot family, and Seth Rogers on both the 2022 SA investigation and the 2023 physical abuse investigation. She personally documented Sebastian's disclosure, and this is the documents. I just want to make this clear. I'm not saying this. I'm reading it. And this is what Seth and his attorney is alleging. Okay? I just want to get that clear as well. Okay? So these are claims. So Sebastian, this woman at DCS, she personally documented they're claiming that Sebastian's disclosure of fear, abuse, and trauma. And in 2023, there was physical use investigation. She failed at that time to interview Rogers, Seth, and Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Other legal parents with joint physical and legal custody, which was obviously Seth, and participants in the decision to close the case as no services needed without protective action. She is sued in the individual capacity. Okay. And then there is another defendant, Walker, was at all relevant times a supervisor of DCS. Walker approved the closure of the case as administrative closure on November 15th, 2022. She's being sued in the individual capacity. Defendant Does 1 through 15 are DCS employees, supervisors, and officials whose identities are presently known, but who participated in the investigation, presently unknown, but the participant in the are participants in the investigation, supervision, and closure of DCS case involving Sebastian, and or who established, maintained, or ratified the policies and practices that led to the constitutional violations alleged therein. Okay. Factual allegations, according to this. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, a history of abuse and vulnerability were known to DCS. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, a minor child who was born to Seth and Katie Proudfoot now. His parents separated and Katie married CP. Sebastian lived primarily with his mother and stepfather. Sebastian was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, severe combined type ADHD, and 6q27 chromosome deletion syndrome. He has an individualized education plan, it's called IEP, and a Section 504 plan requiring his school to provide him with accommodations because he was a student with disability. Sebastian was in a behavioral program at his school, received therapy 3 times a week through the Mental Health Cooperative, while he saw a neurologist at Vanderbilt and was scheduled to begin ABA therapy at the time of his disappearance. His therapist his therapist reported that as a consequence of his, we'll just say, abuse in California, I'll just say that they say that he had, there's some things I'm not going to say, but he had frequent bathroom break accidents, right? Which we knew about that part. Okay. Okay. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' multiple disabilities made him uniquely vulnerable to abuse, neglect, and exploitation, and required DCS to exercise heightened care and to provide reasonable accommodations under the American with Disability Act when accessing his safety and needs. On or about September 28, 2022, at approximately 6:33 p.m., a call was placed to DCS Child Abuse Hotline. The intake was screened as a priority 3 with allegations of abuse against an unknown perpetrator. The alleged child victim was obviously him. The intake reported that on September 28, 2022, Sebastian disclosed to a school professional that 2 years earlier, while living with his mother in a different state, he was abused, right? So sad, man. He experienced abuse by someone under 18, I'll just say. Specifically, Sebastian disclosed that Party B, okay, I'm not going to write that. Okay. I'm not going to read that. Ooh, that's bad. Okay. Never mind on that. Sebastian reported, one second. Okay. And this person allegedly said that if he told anyone, they would not be friends anymore. I believe we've known that. That I think Seth said that, I think, on Pascal's show before. And he claimed this happened several times over weeks. So naturally, the they're going to report that, right? Of course, a teacher is going to report that. But they found they couldn't really, CPS really couldn't do anything because this is Tennessee that they're in now, and that happened in California, right? So that's kind of the difference. However, I do think something happened in California. Sebastian told the school professional that after he told her she was the, quote, only adult who knew besides his mother. The intake further documented I haven't read all this, and I just can't say some of this shit. Oh my God. Okay. The intake noted that Sebastian struggled with his behaviors after he moved to Sumner County District and was placed in a behavior program at a middle school. Now, it's so bad, Sandwich. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's so bad. So think about this, guys. I just want you to think about all the challenges this young man had. This young man had a chromosome deletion. He had different types of ADHD. He had something, I forget what else going on with him. He had moved from, he had moved from California to Tennessee. And then he had moved a couple times in Tennessee. His parents had split up. He had a new stepfather. He had this SA going on with him. He had autism. And he was really struggling with all of this. Right? And so it's just so sad to me. That is just so sad that he dealt with so much. You know what I mean? He dealt with absolutely so much. I don't think he's in a home user. I really don't. I don't think so. I think it's way past that. Way past that. Right. Hitting a key with sensory issues, fluid on the brain, Past trauma, I don't know, seems a little wrong. Hitting a kid with sensory issues, absolutely. I agree. I don't agree with, personally, I don't agree with spanking any child, especially a one that has physical issues and mental disabilities, I guess you'll say. Thank you, Twist. Appreciate you for your gifts, honey. Like I said, I was spanked as a kid and it taught me nothing. It just taught me to be scared. That's it. I didn't have anything, going on with me. So I was just a mean ass kid. Yes, Justin. That's how I don't understand how people think he's alive. We've all seen KK flinging them in. Well, Seth says that he believes Sebastian is still alive, and maybe he has to believe that just to continue on or whatever. I just don't know how you could think anything else until, as a parent, you know what I mean? Physical punishment might stop an action in the exact second it happens, but studies show it is minimally effective in the short term. Yeah. You change the behavior. Whipping a kid or allegedly punching them in the stomach. And I wish I could say more, but I will say I absolutely, in my opinion, believe the claim because of, I'll just say, other things that I know that has happened. She didn't go check on the thud that night. No, she didn't. She sure didn't. No. Okay. So, Sebastian, according to this intake, that Sebastian was struggling with behaviors after he moved, and he was placed in this program at a middle school. At the middle school. That's very important, not the high school. Critically, the intake documented that Sebastian, quote, stated that he is afraid of what his stepfather, quote, Mr. Chris, CP, would do if he found out, and that he is afraid he will get, quote, hurt, end quote, for telling an adult what happened, end quote. The intake further noted that stepfather had used corporal punishment on Sebastian several times before, and it is unknown if he knows about the abuse or how he will react or blame Sebastian, end quote. So this is claiming that Sebastian was afraid, allegedly, of Mr. Chris, and was afraid, allegedly, that Mr. Chris would, treat him differently if he knew about what happened to him in California. Okay. Now, again, I do want to say that this is what we're talking about today is not really about, I mean, it is, but it's not about Chris and Katie. This is about Seth claiming that CPS and knew about this and failed to protect Sebastian, right? So, okay. All right, where was I? So, the corporal punishment thing. Okay. The intake also, and just so you know, that Seth has the CPS records. And there are the things I am quoting, right? The things I am quoting is, I'm assuming, in these CPS papers or these doctor visits, right? I don't think he ever made it home. You know, there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that don't. I do think he made it home, but that's just me. Okay. The intake also noted that Sebastian suffered from frequent bathroom accidents and displayed. Okay, I'm not going to say that. Okay. On September 29th, 2022, Richie conducted an administrative review. She documented the SA allegations and noted that the next steps would include a full assessment. Initial face-to-face response was due by October 3rd, 2022. On September 30th, 2022, Boswell met with Sebastian at the middle school. Now, again, when he was at that middle school, this is before that they lived where they live now, right? Right. Hobby, I am totally confused. Thank you so much for pointing that out. Yeah, sounds like you're triggered, Hobby. Oh, God. Too bad. Okay, moving on. Let's see here. Okay, so September 30th, 2022, at the middle school, he met with Sebastian in a private conference room, and Sebastian told Boswell that he, quote, feels safe with his family at home, and that he, quote, feels safe at dad's home, end quote. Let me say that again. Sebastian told Boswell that he, quote, feels safe at his family at home, end quote, and that he, quote, feels safe at dad's home, end quote. Sebastian identified his father as Seth Rogers, who lived in Clarksville. Sebastian stated nothing. Hold on, let me see what this is. Okay. He said, Sebastian said that something happened when he lived in California, but he did not want to talk about it. That there was no visible any marks or bruises or anything like that, and appears to be healthy at this time, end quote. And again, that was September 30th, 2022. On October 12th, 2022, Boswell mailed a certified letter to the family, noting that they had recently moved and there was no forwarding address. On October 17th, 2022, Richie conducted another administrative review and updated the case, noting that Boswell had seen the child and that he did, quote, did not want to talk about what happened in California, end quote. That the family was moving and that the efforts to contact them had been unsuccessful. Boom, done. These are Sebastian's words. Yes, that is, and those matter. I absolutely agree. They are Sebastian's words, and that matters. I absolutely agree with that. Miss Kels, well stated. So this person has one interview with Sebastian, one, and says that, you know, something happened in California, but he doesn't want to talk about it. How long later? We got from September 30th to October 12th. So we'll just say less than 2 weeks later, she mails a certified letter noting that they had recently moved and that there was no forwarding address. And then 3 days later, after the not forwarding address, they conducted another administrative review and updated the case, noting that Boswell had seen the child and that the child did not want to talk about what happened in California. The family was moving and the efforts to contact them had been unsuccessful. And again, this is, I mean, listen, I don't think this happened in Chris and Katie's, but I don't think that they were running from CPS. I just don't think Chris and Katie were running from CPS. But I will say in a lot of other cases, people do run from CPS. And that's when, you know, they get lost in the system. I'm sure that there will probably be some depositions. So anyway, on October 27, 2022, Boswell conducted a home visit. So 10 days later, okay, so we go from October 17, 2022, and then we go to October 27th. 10 days later, Boswell conducted a home visit with Katie. Stated she, quote, does not understand why this keeps getting called into DCS, end quote. And that the abuse, quote, happened when Sebastian was I'll just say he was very young, under 10, I'll just say, with another minor. She stated, quote, CPS and detectives were involved in California. She provided the California address, and she confirmed that Sebastian had, quote, severe combined ADHD. He had the chromosome deletion, and he had a behavioral plan and was starting therapy on November 3rd. She confirmed that Sebastian also saw a neurologist in Vanderbilt. During the same visit, Boswell spoke to Proudfoot in private. It just says Proudfoot in private. I guess it means Katie still. Proudfoot stated, quote, this was all investigated in California, and that he had, quote, never spanked Sebastian, so he does not know why Sebastian feels he would be mad for talking about what happened in California, end quote. So the way I take this is that KK is allegedly saying that he's never been whipped by Mr. Chris, and she doesn't know why Sebastian would think that Mr. Chris would be mad if he knew what happened in California. The statement was directly contradicted by Sebastian's own disclosure that he was, quote, afraid, end quote, of what his stepfather would do. And by the intake, noting the stepfather had used, quote, corporal punishment on Sebastian several times before, end quote. DCS did not reconcile this contradiction. Okay. So this is what it's saying, in my opinion, the way I take it. It's saying Sebastian had this awful thing happen to him in California. He told a teacher at the school. Teacher reported it. Sebastian allegedly said that his stepfather allegedly whipped him, and he was afraid that if Mr. Chris would know about what happened in California, that, you know, he was scared of him knowing. And the way I take it here is that Katie is allegedly saying, I don't know why Sebastian would, think, his stepdad would think any different of him. He's never allegedly whipped him. Whenever Sebastian is saying the opposite, essentially. He's literally saying the opposite. We are up so late, never. And to me, that's the really sad part, right? That's really sad. He was trying to get someone to notice, right? All right. I want to show you guys something here. Because I think this is important. Okay. Let me see if I can find it real quick, because this is very interesting. Oh, Miss Smiley. Let me see if I can find it on the transcript. Maybe. Okay. You'll want to see this. You'll really want to see this. Just bear with me 1 second while I got it. Okay. Do you not have your thing on, Miss Smiley? Okay. Why is it not showing the fucking trans? Okay. Listen to this real quick.
Yeah.
1 second.
Send it out with
doing his thing, and I appreciate it. What I don't appreciate, and I helped raise him, or
no.
I
1 second.
It's okay. It's not about me fighting with anybody else.
so right now we're not just hang tight with clean your room. Well, they say come out. Well, it's clean, and you go in there and you go to check the room, and the room's not clean. Was my stepson a burden? And first off, like this, I'm gonna make this real clear
in my head. So
her name was Stephanie. And
over to the house.
They each have their unique interests.
Part of a church thing needs to be re-looked at.
we've got some really great friends in the family. I mean, we're reaching out. We've got great family and friends.
He has called on you.
What happened? And I said, okay.
With Sebastian.
Tennessee was Sebastian, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Say
it.
It's going to sound very jerkish, but I don't want softball questions.
Sorry. I've had CPS called on you before.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And you don't have to go into it elaborate or anything like that. I just, that was the question that I had. And that happens, sometimes, especially when you have a child who is,
Absolutely.
has special needs and stuff. That's hard.
I'll be honest with you. I've had CPS called on me in 2 states, New Mexico and Tennessee.
And did that include with Sebastian?
Tennessee was Sebastian, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And in fact, Sebastian here, like I said, I got nothing to hide. So Sebastian went to school one day because we were at the house. He got in trouble. He didn't have a belt on. I was like, "Where's your belt?" And got it.
Okay. Now, Chris, I want to make something. What Chris is saying here about the belt, I do believe it comes up in these documents. And I believe in these documents that Seth and his attorney filed that Sebastian was allegedly whipped for not having the belt on. So Chris is absolutely telling the truth here. So I'm giving credit where credit is absolutely due. Bo, thank you for 22 months. What a legend. Appreciate you, baby. Good to see you. And thank you so much for your support, my love. Appreciate you. He also used Tennessee CPS to take his daughter away from her mother. Oh, yeah, that's a whole other story.
Whack. Kind of got him. So he goes to school one day because we were at the house. He got in trouble. He didn't have a belt on. I was like, "Where's your belt?" And got it.
Yes.
Whack. Kind of got him. So he goes to school and he tells the teacher. They're mandatory reporters. So the teacher reports it. That afternoon, CPS shows up to the house while we're actually sitting down to eat dinner. Now, mind you, 15-year-old child.
Now, I don't think this is the first CPS report, though. That seemed to be like there was CPS involved a couple times at least, allegedly.
He's not real happy because he's in trouble, so he's being punished. So he shows, he makes a report. They come to the house, and the lady who comes to the house is the same lady we've had. She's had a case before.
Okay, now right there where it says, and the lady that come to the house is the same lady, and he catches himself, in my opinion, and he says, who had a case before, right? But what he's saying is, in my opinion, and it's the same CPS lady that we had before, in my opinion, but I don't want to speak for him.
He makes a report. They come to the house.
Interpretation.
And the lady who comes to the house is the same lady we've had. She's had a case before. Now, the case that was before was something that didn't even happen, and it's like 3 stories that were shoved into one. And when they finally got it debunked, they were like, "Oh, he got so mixed up in telling one story, it mixed into 3, and it caused a commotion."
Okay, so we're going to continue with these documents, but what Mr. Chris is seemingly, in my opinion at least, alleging here is that Sebastian got 3 stories mixed into one and they got it debunked. So we'll continue to see what the papers say, right?
Well, they canceled that out.
They canceled.
So the one on me, she shows up, and I said, "Hey."
Now, what this lawsuit, Seth and his attorney is claiming, just remember, in 2022, was it 2022? Yeah, 2022. They asked Sebastian about it. Sebastian said he didn't want to talk about it. They sent a letter, and it forwarded to an address that, they had moved. And then about 3 weeks later, the CPS person shows up to the house of, I guess, I'm assuming their new house. And Katie said, Sebastian has never been whipped by his stepdad. At least she's claiming at that time in 2022. So she don't know why Sebastian would be upset. But Sebastian is saying something completely different.
How you doing? It's her again. She's like, "Oh, hey." She goes, "Hey, I'm already." So the one on it caused the commotion. Well, they canceled that out. So the one on me, she shows up, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" It's her again. She's like, "Oh, hey." She goes, "Hey, I'm already don't." She's like, "Don't tell me anything, but I'm gonna tell you what I know happened." And I said, "Okay." She goes, "Boom, boom, boom." She told me exactly what happened. I said, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "Oh my God." I said, "Yes, ma'am. This is how it's been." Sebastian thought by telling on me, making it sound like I was so horrible.
Okay, kind of cuts out there.
Oh, you cut out. You cut out just a minute.
But, Seth is saying that Sebastian, or sorry, I keep saying Seth. Chris is saying that Sebastian told CPS on him, and that the CPS lady comes and says, bloop, bloop, bloop. And he said, Sebastian, thinking that he was going to go to her, making it seem like Chris, was so horrible. And then it cuts out. So we'll continue to see what these documents allege. Okay.
You cut out. Oh, there you go. Okay.
That I was going to get in trouble over something stupid. And I was like, "No, Sebastian, you got punished, man. You got punished." And he was like, but, and I was like, "You got punished." And the lady took him outside. She goes, "Sebastian, just because you get in trouble and you get punished, you need to understand when you go and you say things about people and you lie and you fabricate things and you make it sound worse than what it is, sir, you can get in trouble for that."
I think this part is, in my opinion, one of the most grotesque parts, because I hope that was never said by a CPS person. And there will be depositions in this by the CPS. And that question is going to be asked. Did you tell, that question is going to be asked in my opinion at least, did you tell Sebastian that when you go and lie and fabricate these stories, you can get in trouble? To me, that's one of the most awful parts, because again, this is a child that has abuse already. His parents is split up. He's got a chromosome deletion. He's moved from California to Tennessee and moved again in Tennessee. He's having a hard time with the move. He's got autism. He's got his parents split up, a stepdad, and all of this going on. And he doesn't need someone that he's confiding in for whatever reason to say you can get in trouble for that. So I hope to the good Lord in heaven, CPS would never say something like that. I kind of doubt that. In my opinion, I doubt that CPS or DHS told him that. Now, did one of his parents or step-parents tell him that? I don't know. But I would be extraordinarily surprised if a CPS agent or any mandated reporter would ever tell him that. CPS agents are not there to judge you, the child, the alleged victim or victim. They're there to listen and to see if it breaks protocol or safety and if the child is at risk. That's it. That's all. Nothing more. That's it. Because then this creates confusion, right? Oh my God, I better not say something even if the child is being abused. Oh my God, I better not say something. I might get in trouble. And they're actually being abused or neglected.
So we had that happened, and the lady was like, I am so sorry. And I said, no, he's just a child. He's upset. It is what it is. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he sat that back down at the dinner table and was like, see, eat your food.
See, eat your food.
And we went back and everything's been fine.
Yeah. That girl wants to know what was he wearing when they went to dinner. Maybe he returned, if it was his favorite place. I guess.
Okay. Now we're going to get back to this. Okay. Because this is very important. And we'll follow up with a video versus what was said back when. Love you, Leslie. Okay. So, holy shit, I did not mean to show y'all that. I apologize. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me find out where I left off. Okay. Now you just heard about Mr. Chris talking about the belt there, right? And like I said, I believe he was telling the truth. And the allegations here at this, in my opinion, says he was being truthful in this. Bear with me, though. Okay. I gotta find out where I live. Okay. On November... Okay. During the visit, the same visit, Boswell spoke to Proudfoot in private, and this is where she says this was investigated in California, and that he, I'm assuming Mr. CP, quote, never spanked Sebastian, and she doesn't know why Sebastian feels that way, that he would be mad. Okay, moving on. The statement was indirectly contradicted by what Sebastian said. Boswell then met with Sebastian in private, noting he was, quote, completing his homework, end quote, and, quote, appeared happy and healthy, end quote. Okay, so we need to give, that is what the CPS agent met with Sebastian. He was doing his homework, and she says he appeared happy and healthy. Thank you, pause. Thank you, darling. Okay, now, moving on from that. November 1st, 2022, Boswell verified the SA in California had been investigated. So they did check up on that, DHS. And this DHS spoke with the detective. She also verified that he had mental health services at Vanderbilt. On November 3rd, 2022, the case was presented to the Sumner County Child Protective Investigative Team, also known as CPIT, which included juvenile court, an advocacy center, and assistant district attorney Jenny Smith, and law enforcement. A detective was assigned to the case. All members agreed to classify the case as, quote, administrative closure. Okay? So this went to the assistant DA, an advocacy center, a juvenile court, and law enforcement. And they all closed it out. They all closed it out. And this was November 3rd, 2022. On November 7th, 2022, Ritchie updated her review, noting, quote, this case has now been presented to CPIT as administrative closure as it was investigated in California. This was child, okay, that both of them in California were underage, and they say because it was investigated, quote, the child reports no concern at this time, and that Sebastian was getting back to his therapy, and the child reports no concerns. It says the mother is protective and proactive with the child, meaning KK. That they're alleging that KK is protective and proactive with the child, meaning Sebastian. On November 14th, 2022, Ritchie spoke with CAC director, I'll just call her Director Amy, and the classification was changed to, quote, unable to complete, end quote, based on policy 14.7 because the incident occurred out of state. The thing that happened in California. On November 14th, 2022, Ritchie spoke to CAC Director Amy, and the classification was changed to, quote, unable to complete. Okay, I read that. On November 15th, 2022, Supervisor Walker completed the final administrative review and approved the case for closure as, quote, unable to complete due to the incident occurring out of the state, end quote, and the case was closed. Okay, so this is how I take it right here so far. I take it as, yes, in my opinion, CPS did what they could do when it comes to the California case. It was out of their jurisdiction. There had already been a detective in California, and it had already been completed. However, the question about Sebastian saying that he was fearful of his stepfather was not, it was a contradiction, in my opinion, and that's what, in my opinion, this letter is saying. Sebastian saying he's afraid of what his stepdad would think about what happened in California, and he is allegedly fearful of his stepdad. And Katie says she doesn't know why Sebastian would feel that way. You know, that Chris, wouldn't think any differently. And he's never whipped Sebastian at that time in 2022. But there was no, in my opinion, resolution, because there was a confliction on what Sebastian was saying, what mom was saying. Where was the resolution? I get the resolution about California and all that, but there was, it was Sebastian. Okay, so yeah. All right. So, here we go. The foregoing investigation gave DCS and law enforcement actual knowledge of Sebastian's vulnerability. Right? And let's be extraordinarily clear. All children are vulnerable. Sebastian, and anyone like Sebastian that has a disability or has had abuse in the past, has moved, has been, a divorce, all of this stuff requires even further extra care, right? And it needs to go that much further. You're absolutely right, Babs. I agree as well. Hey, Lakeside, I believe Sebastian was truthful too. These are Sebastian's words in a lot of this, right? I mean, direct quotes of Sebastian. So, I think, in my opinion, they didn't meet it there, but, I'm not the jury or the judge on this, so excuse me. All right. The foregoing investigation gave DCS and law enforcement actual knowledge of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers' vulnerability. By reason of this actual knowledge, DCS and law enforcement were on heightened notice that any subsequent allegation of abuse by Proudfoot or within the Proudfoot household required a more searching and skeptical investigation than they would otherwise apply. The first investigation findings were not a clean slate, they're alleging. They were a documented predicate of danger that obligated DCS to treat any further report concerning this child and this household with the gravity of the circumstances demanded, right? So after one report and knowing that this is a child, he has extra vulnerabilities, and then CPS or DHS going in again, knowing allegedly, knowing they're saying that he has these vulnerabilities, that it needed to be met with skepticism, all of it, and extra gravity because of Sebastian's conditions. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I just need to I'll be right back. Give me 20 seconds. I'm going to play this real quick.
It's to the restaurant. Katie, you remember?
We may have lost her.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, she's been going in and out. Okay, we'll save that. I'll just let you into that on out there anyway. Wants to call in real. Okay, what kind of stuff wrong phone number? So he fell down, but I
early, and he said the only case.
Shit, I was muted. I'm going to play this now because this is very interesting to me. Because Josh, my friend Josh from the lab, make sure you sub up to Josh from the lab if you're not subbed up. He spoke to Chris on the DHS, the CPS, and Chris lost his shit right here. And let's review this on what Chris said versus what they are alleging now and see how it turned out.
And I asked him about DCS, and he said the only case that DCS has open is because Sebastian ran away.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry about that.
the Chris.
Okay, so Josh says the only case, Josh says the only that Chris told him the only case that DCS has open is because Sebastian ran away. And Katie said that's true.
DCS. And he said the only case that DCS has open is because Sebastian ran away.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry about that.
The Chris. Josh was going to
Yes,
call
ma'am.
in. I accidentally punched a 3 instead of a 2 or whatever, and he jumped up here on
That's
panel.
fine.
And, he wanted to ask you something, actually. Sorry.
Fire away, man.
Well, so you and I had we had messaged earlier on Facebook, and I had asked you about DCS, and you said that there were no other interactions with CPS or DCS except for Sebastian going missing, which I then told you, but that's not mandatory necessarily unless CPS was already involved. So
Now,
you're
hold
not
on.
really being honest.
Wait a minute. You asked me, because I'll read the messages to everybody in God and Country. You asked me if there was an active CPS case on Sebastian. That's what you asked. And I told you, yes, there was, because the sheriff's department told us that they had to report it because he was missing.
Okay, now this is interesting. This is getting interesting, in my opinion. Yep. So when your child, God forbid, your child goes missing, when a child goes missing, they don't necessarily have to report it to CPS. It's really generally at the discretion of law enforcement. In Summer Wells' case, they reported it. In Michael Vaughn's case, they didn't. It may be up to your state as well. It just depends. But knowing that there was CPS, now we know that obviously law enforcement knew that there was CPS cases prior to Sebastian going missing. And Sebastian alleged that he was allegedly scared of his stepfather. And then Sebastian goes missing. They're going to report that to CPS. And to me, and the way Chris is saying it here, he said they reported to CPS and they opened a CPS case when Sebastian went missing? I don't know, Lakeside. I don't know. I want to look that up.
You asked me if there was an active CPS case on Sebastian. That's what you asked. And I told you, yes, there was. Because the sheriff's department told us.
They need to be in prison. CPS from Harmony's case. They need to be, those CPS workers need to be in prison.
That they had to.
Because they weren't just negligent. They were idiots of the fullest caliber.
Report it because he was missing. That's what you asked. Now, you also started to ask if there was another case. And there was no other case that I know of that's active. That's what you asked.
Again, this is, which, in my opinion, one thing that I do think Chris loves more than anything is semantics. He loves a good semantic. Yeah.
Josh?
Yeah, I'm here.
So, like I said, sir, I'm brash, I'm to the point, be respectful.
Can you hear
and
me?
I will tell you, and I'll be honest, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I got nothing to hide.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, he said, okay. Can you hear him, Josh?
I can hear him, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Well, I just said, well, in the messages that I asked that it was pertaining to Sebastian's school, right? Like you just said. And you said, no, other than him going missing, no CPS cases.
Other than him going missing, no CPS case. They're having a hard time hearing each other here. Yes,
I can't hear.
Maybe
that.
How you doing?
He didn't say anything.
Yeah, he does, Babs.
Can you hear him, Chris?
I agree, Lakeside. Let me fast forward this.
That's what you asked about. So you didn't ask, you asked about active cases.
Active case.
That's what you asked about. And I answered your question.
You did. You answered my question.
Hello. Hello?
He said you answered his question. I can hear you. Can you? Okay. Can you?
And I can't.
Okay, here we
I
go.
think
So he's asked me, and I can't pull it up because if I pull it up, then we lose contact. But he asked me if there was active DCH, CPS, whatever you want to call it, case with Sebastian. And I said, yes, he's missing.
Okay.
I was told by the sheriff's department that they had to report it. So yes, there's an active case. Is there anything other than that? No, there's not an active case. So my statement that I told you is true.
Yeah, I was thinking, Clutch, thank you for that, Amber. I just, she just checked if Tennessee had Grok or whatever that thing is, has to report to CPS. When a child goes missing, they do not. They must prepare a formal missing child report, of course. Yeah, enter the report into NCIC within 3 hours. Yes, yeah.
True. Statement that I told you is true.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I get it, the active investigation, but yeah, but you did really. Maybe it's just because of text, but you did make it seem like there was no, like that this was the first time that they'd ever been involved at all.
No, I didn't insinuate. Now, understand something. Words on paper are simply words on paper. Whatever emotions you put behind them is directly proportionate to yourself, not me.
Oh, sir, I didn't put any emotion behind it. I'm just
saying. What you're saying, you're trying to insinuate on this show.
No.
Yes, you did, sir. Yes, because you just stated. You just stated that you said that I made it sound like this. No, I didn't. I told you, I gave you a direct statement, gave you your answer, and that right there is exactly what I'm talking about. Then you called into the show and you said, no, you're lying. No, I'm not lying. So call a spade, but make sure you're right. Now, to be honest with you, it has nothing to do with finding my son.
You don't think that okay. All right. Well, look, man.
How does CPS have to do with anything finding Sebastian? Because if you're insinuating something,
well, you said they opened up an investigation. You said they opened up an investigation. So you tell me what it has to do with him.
And Josh is right there. He's right there, right? They clearly opened up a new case after Sebastian went missing. What do they do when they open up a new case? They're investigating, right? So there's that. And now we have Sebastian's words in this filing, and he did say that he was scared allegedly scared of Chris. Also, I do want to, I'm trying to be really fucking fair here, in that they went to Sebastian's room. They said that Sebastian appeared happy, healthy, no problem in 2022. I'm just trying to give it both ways.
Because what did I tell you? That's what you're not listening. The sheriff's department told us.
I mean, just because, you know, a lot of these cases, when these children go missing, there is a lot of CPS. And there was, you know, Sebastian was telling people his concerns.
That they are required to report it to DCS, CPS, whatever you want to call them.
I do not believe that they are required, in my opinion.
They're required to.
Someone just checked. They said, and again, I have not checked it, but someone in chat said that they checked, and it's not required. But
to report it to them. That answer has yet to change.
I think if they had, you know, concerns that something might have been going on in the home, of course, they're going to report it to DHS. They're mandatory.
Change. It hasn't changed any of the slightest.
And okay, so that's okay, I get it. So it's the only open investigation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
What's the next hard one we got? Fire away.
Okay.
I'm not arguing.
Okay. So I was just wondering.
Mr. Proudfoot, to Mr. Proudfoot. Mr. Proudfoot, what happened?
Lord, kumbaya. Someone
sing it. Okay, he shouldn't be able. There's a lot with that crazy. I can't say though, but there's a lot. There's a lot.
Like
to that
Katie,
as well.
let me ask you this, or anybody can answer. So, like, if y'all were at home alone, like because Chris works out of town a lot,
Cassie, but was there a report filed from Nina around Christmas on her daughter? There's a lot that has went on with that. That's all I can say.
and I just wonder, like, would Sebastian know what to do if there was a house fire? Like, if it was just you and him, does he know how to handle all that kind of emergency stuff?
We have gone over it with him several times. talked about like what to do in case of an emergency.
My poker face. My poker face. So okay, sorry. All right. So we're going to continue here on this. On May 3rd, 2023, at approximately 9:06 p.m., a second call was placed to DCS Child Abuse Hotline. The intake was screened as priority 3 with allegations of physical abuse against Proudfoot. The alleged victim was Sebastian. Okay. This is call number 2. Okay. May 3rd, 2023. This is 9 months before Sebastian would go missing. A protest. In home care workers are mandated reporters. The school counselors would be. Yes. Yeah. Technically, everyone's a mandated reporter. You see something, say something, right? Okay. May 3rd, 2023, at approximately 9:06 p.m., a second call was placed to DCS Child Use Hotline. The intake was screened as priority 3 with allegations of physical abuse against Proudfoot. The alleged victim was Sebastian. So this was later on in the evening. This was called. To me, in my opinion, seems like perhaps a teacher. But that's just me speculating. The intake reported that Proudfoot had made, quote, comments about pushing the child against a wall when he does not behave, end quote. So apparently, this report alleges that Sebastian is let me check on that 1 second. Okay. Priority 3 refers to a case assessment timeline indicating a low risk of harm to the child. And they have within 3 business days. 3 business days. Which to me is really fucked up. Because Sebastian, not only is he a child, but he is a special needs child. And to me, even more vulnerable children need to be a priority 1. Yes. And both of these were categorized as low risk. So let me read that part again. The intake reported that Proudfoot had made, quote, comments about pushing the child against a wall when he does not behave, end quote. And that the child reported Proudfoot hit Sebastian in the belly. On May 8th, 2023, at approximately 6:30 p.m., Boswell arrived at the family home. Proudfoot granted permission to enter. Boswell met with Sebastian on the porch. Sebastian stated he remembered Boswell coming to his home last year. Now, again, I'm going to, Chris said just right here in this interview that it was the same CPS person that came before, as this report says, right? As this report said. So Sebastian remembered this CPS person, Boswell. Apparently the P-Foots did as well, right? Excuse me. All right. P-Foot granted permission to enter. Boswell met with Sebastian on the porch. Sebastian stated he remembered Boswell coming to his home last year. During this interview, Sebastian told Boswell that P-Foot required he wore a belt every day. Sebastian stated that P-Foot asked him to lift his shirt. And when Sebastian did not have a belt on, P-Foot, quote, smacked him in his belly with the back of his hand and said, "You know you are supposed to wear a belt," end quote. So that's what Sebastian said. It doesn't say how, he did it with the back of his hand, according to Sebastian. So I'm just saying. At least, didn't say a fist, thank God. Sebastian Wayne, Drake Rogers, also told Boswell that he had been lying to Katie and P-Foot about brushing his teeth. Oh, he's so pure. He's so pure, He's 15 years old, but he's not 15 years old. That bothered him, apparently, that he was lying to him about brushing his teeth. Bless his heart. Had been lying to Katie and Mr. P-Foot about brushing his teeth and making his bed, and that he had been, quote, getting into trouble for lying, end quote. Boswell then met with P-Foot on the porch. P-Foot admitted that he was cleaning Sebastian's drawers, asked Sebastian if he had a belt on, and when Sebastian pulled up his shirt and said no, P-Foot, quote, whacked him with the back of his hand in his belly and said, "Boy, you know you are supposed to wear a belt every day," end quote. P-Foot stated Sebastian had to wear a belt because he needed to start wearing pull-ups. Scratch that. Let me read that again. P-Foot stated Sebastian had to wear a belt because he started to wear I'll start again. P-Foot stated Sebastian had to wear a belt because he needed to start wearing pull-ups. P-Foot claimed he had, quote, never physically harmed Sebastian, end quote. P-Foot own admission that he, quote, whacked, end quote, a child with diagnosed autism and multiple disabilities in his belly constituted physical abuse. His requirement that Sebastian, quote, wear a pull-up, end quote, and submit to shirt lifting inspections constituted degrading and humiliating treatment of a disabled child who suffered from documented bathroom accidents as a consequence of, I'll just say, what happened in California. Boswell spoke to KK in the kitchen. KK said, quote, "They have been working with Sebastian on when he tells something to tell the entire story," end quote. And that Sebastian would tell bits and pieces to a story to fit his narrative, end quote. And tell me what kid doesn't? I mean, tell me what teenager doesn't? Okay. Okay. She stated she had, quote, "no concerns that Mr. Proudfoot smacked Sebastian's belly with intent to hurt him," end quote. On May 9th, 2023, Boswell verified that Sebastian was receiving therapy services 3 times a week through a private therapist and medication management through a health service. So that was the 9th, and then this was, one second. Okay, so the next day, on May 8th is when they arrived at the home. On May 9th is when they checked the next day to see if he was in therapy and his medication. On May 11th, 2023, Richie conducted the administrative review and concluded, quote, "This case is ready for closure at this time as no service needed. Case manager has met with the family and they denied any concerns." The child reported being safe in the home. He stated the stepfather popped his belly and told him to wear a belt. The child denied any physical abuse in the home. The stepfather reported the same as the child, end quote. Richie noted the, quote, "fast is completed with no need for intervention," end quote. So, you know, take that how you will. On May 11th, 2023, the case was closed as, quote, "no service needed," end quote. DCS failure to conduct a minimally adequate investigation was compounded by its complete failure to involve Rogers, Seth, biological father, who held joint physical and legal custody of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers pursuant to court order. Despite this, DCS never notified Rogers that the investigation was underway, never interviewed him as Sebastian's Wayne Drake Rogers' other legal parent to obtain his observations regarding Proudfoot or the condition in the Proudfoot home, and was never offered to place Sebastian with him during the investigation, notwithstanding that such placement was clearly within DCS's authority and was the most obvious protective measure available. So they talked to Sebastian, they talked to Mr. Proudfoot and they talked with Mrs. Proudfoot. They are claiming that they never contacted Seth, who had joint physical, joint legal through a court, that this was going on. Now, regardless, Seth should have been made aware. Regardless, I mean, you know, like if you have a split household, right? You want to know where your kid is going. You know, if they're spending the weekend at the other parent's house, let alone if there is these claims that Sebastian is making, that mandated reporters are reporting, and even if everything was 100% kosher with CP, KP, and Sebastian, Seth still has the right to know that he is the father and he has just as much custody and rights legally with the courts as Katie. And they are obligated to tell Seth. That is what this is about, right? It doesn't, it's not, it's, well, if everything is perfect in that house, he still has the right to know about his son, alleging this to the teachers, CPS, and all that. Okay. Now, 1 second. Had DCS fulfilled the most basic obligation, it would have learned critical information that was never captured in this case file. Rogers would have told DCS investigators that Sebastian had expressed to him multiple occasions that he was more comfortable with Rogers than the Proudfoots, and that Sebastian was afraid of Proudfoot because he believed Proudfoot would hurt him if he disclosed what had been happening. And this is also, again, Sebastian's words, his own words. You can't argue with that. These are Sebastian's own words, saying that he was, concerned about his stepdad knowing what happened to California, and he could be scared at times. But then there are other times where he's saying that he wasn't scared. So I'm trying to be really fair here. Okay. Believed Proudfoot would hurt him if he disclosed what had been happening. Rogers would have informed DCS that Proudfoot had ridiculed Sebastian about what? Now, again, I want to say what I'm about to read is a claim. Okay. Rogers would have informed DCS, meaning Seth, that Proudfoot had ridiculed Sebastian about the prior SA, compounding Sebastian existing trauma and making Sebastian even less likely to disclose abuse to any adult who believed would report back to the Proudfoot household. Rogers would have advised DCS that Sebastian's mental state I don't want to talk about that. That his behavioral problems were worsening and that Sebastian appeared increasingly distressed in the period leading up to the investigation. DCS had already possessed documentation of Sebastian's escalating behavioral issues. A minimally competent investigator would have recognized Sebastian's worsening condition not as a fixed background fact, but as a contemporaneous warning sign that something in Sebastian's living environment was causing him active harm. DCS did not investigate the cause of Sebastian's deterioration. It closed the case instead. And then it says the next thing. Okay, now we're getting to the disappearance of Sebastian. The disappearance of Sebastian. On February 26, 2024, Katie reported that Sebastian Rogers, quote, left the home on his own and his whereabouts are unknown, end quote. And that, quote, Sebastian had never left the home before alone, end quote. Given Sebastian's neurodivergence, his developmental disabilities, and the documented history of abuse in the home, this report should have triggered the most intensive investigative response possible. More than 48 hours after Sebastian was reported missing by his mother, an Amber Alert was issued by the TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office, SCSO for short, initiated a search that at the beginning involved significant resources, including community volunteers and search teams. A DCS safety assessment was initiated on March 1, 2024, and a FAST 2.0 assessment was completed on March 5th, 2024. As of the date of the complaint, Sebastian has been missing for nearly 2 years. He has not been found. No arrests have been made. The circumstances of his disappearance remain unknown. Rogers, meaning Seth, had been left in a state of unrelenting anguish, not knowing whether his son is alive or dead, and knowing that the state agencies entrusted with his son's protection failed him at every turn. Moving on to DCS's own records demonstrate it knew Sebastian was in danger. This is the claim. DCS's own records from the 2022 SA in California are critical context for understanding what DCS knew when the 2023 physical abuse investigation was opened. The first investigation documented that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers had been the victim of repeated SA in California. And I'll just say that he was having a hard time with it. It's really bad. over what happened. That his behavioral deterioration and placement in a special behavioral program at his new school were connected to his unresolved trauma symptoms. That Sebastian's therapist, okay, I'm not going to read that, and he had bathroom accidents as a consequence of his prior, you got me, and that Sebastian explicitly feared that Proudfoot would physically harm him if Sebastian disclosed this information. The intake also documented that Proudfoot had already used corporal punishment on Sebastian multiple times. These facts from a documented foundation of Sebastian's psychological state, his vulnerabilities, and the specific danger he faced in the Proudfoot home. When in 2023, physical abuse investigation opened with allegations against the same stepfather, DCS and law enforcement carried all of this knowledge into the investigation and were on heightened notice that Sebastian's disclosure had to be assessed against everything they already knew about the child and this home. The safety assessment dated March 1, 2024, and the FAST 2.0 assessment dated March 5th, 2024, reveal the totality of what DCS knew and Sebastian's situation prior to his disappearance, which include that Sebastian had an IEP and Section 504 plan, that Sebastian was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and several combined ADHD and the chromosome deletion, that he was taking Concerta, saw a neurologist, and was scheduled to begin ABA therapy at the time of his disappearance. That Sebastian, okay, I'm not going to read that one. That's terrible. That law enforcement reported that Proudfoot, quote, had been heard. Now, this is bad. This is bad right here. That law enforcement reported that Proudfoot, quote, had been heard by neighbors stating he hated the child and wanted the child to DE, end quote. Per the grandmother, Proudfoot often called Sebastian names that would degrade him, end quote. Oh my God. That is a quote. Wow. I'm going to read that again in just a second.
Calling 911.
Just give me a second, guys.
Run into a neighbor's house to ask for help. Known friendly neighbors. How to get
Yes,
out,
Lisa.
if a door is blocked and that type of thing. So yes, he should assuming that he, is able to think in a, sorry, I'm losing my word, like in a panic, like if there's an emergency happening. But yes, we have safety plans that we've gone over as far as like getting out of the house in case of fire and how to get a hold of someone in an emergency.
Okay. So, so if there was an emergency, would he run out of the house like that barefoot? Or would he throw on his slippers, do you think, because they're by the front door?
Honestly, it could go either way. I know his dad said that he hasn't seen him go outside without shoes on since he was 2. But I, however, have had a different experience with Sebastian where he does go outside without his shoes
Bullshit.
on.
I don't believe that.
There's been several times where he takes the trash out in his socks, and I'm like, dude, you got to put shoes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would say, honestly, it would just depend, I think, on the situation.
Yeah. How did...
I will say this is not even a 10th of it, though. There is so much, guys. Okay. I'm going to read that again. That law enforcement reported that Proudfoot, quote, had been heard by neighbors stating he hated the child and wanted the child to DE, end quote. Per the grandmother, Proudfoot, quote, often called Sebastian names that would degrade him, end quote. There's things that's really bad about the clothes and stuff that I just cannot say, and I won't say, but law enforcement knows. Well, it allegedly neighbors heard it allegedly not too long before Sebastian allegedly went missing. That the child was missing and an Amber Alert was issued. That Sebastian had been determined to meet the criteria for participation in the program and is a serious or imminent risk of removal from their home. That, quote, Sebastian had been determined to meet criteria for participation in the Title V Candidacy program and that is a serious or imminent risk of removal from their home, end quote. And again, the program means he was eligible for foster care, in my opinion. That's which I've known that for a very long time. I've never said anything. It's out now. But allegedly, in the CPS documents, he was could be placed in foster care. So he could be placed in foster care, but Seth had no idea this was going on because they did not contact Seth. Right? And that's what I said, like, if CPS doesn't know his dad lives an hour away, then what if they just like took him one day and just put him in a foster care? His dad to come, picks him up during the weekend. He's not there. He's in foster care. Like, that's crazy. There it is. Motive, CP. Talked about Sebastian getting CP banished from their home. Also, Faith hearing was in days near Sebastian's disappearance. Oh, she is. She is, in my opinion. Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. What was it, Rach? We heard we heard Chris say, "Sir, you could get in trouble for that." Sebastian wanted to make it seem like I was so horrible. Absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%. That's, yeah. So, yeah. This determination was made on both cases. Wow. So, in the first case, they said Sebastian could be placed in the program at serious or imminent risk of removal of their home. And the second case, this determination was made on both cases. First on September 29th, 2022, later upgraded to, quote, no longer meets criteria, end quote, on May 4th, 2023, and again on May 1st, 2024, and that the September 29th, 2022 case included a, quote, yeah, I'm surprised they're saying this. Okay, I knew some of this, but I don't know. I guess I've just known this for so long, but I never say anything. I'm just surprised I'm saying it now. So, okay. Listen to this. That on September 29th, 2022, case included a, quote, non-custodial placement, end quote, needed, indicating DCS recognized Sebastian might need to be placed outside the home. Now, I just want you to think about that a second. They are saying that Sebastian qualified for foster care with a non-custodial parent, a stranger. And Seth didn't know anything about this. Seth had no idea this was going on. Not from allegedly CP or KP or CPS. That Sebastian could quote that on September 29, 2022, case included a quote non-custodial placement, end quote. Need indicating DCS recognized Sebastian may need to be placed outside the home. The candidacy determination is particularly significant. Title 5E of the Social Security Act provides federal funding to foster care. A child determined to meet IVE candidacy criteria is one whom the state has formally found to be, quote, at serious or imminent risk of removal from their home, end quote. DCS made this finding about Sebastian and then left him in the very home from which it had determined he was at serious risk of being removed. The combination and documented SA history, physical abuse by Proudfoot, omitted in parentheses by Proudfoot himself, end quote. Sebastian expressed fear of Proudfoot, neighbors reporting Proudfoot, quote, hated the child and wanted the child to DIE, that is in quotes, quote, hated the child and wanted the child to, end quote. And Catherine, this is coming from the filing. So the filing is from CPS documents. The filing is from Sebastian's medical documents, his therapy, and the neighbors reported they are alleging that the neighbors reported that they heard allegedly Mr. Proudfoot say this. What do you mean, Catherine? Is this what Seth is allegedly? Which neighbors reporting Proudfoot, quote, hated the child and wanted the child to, end quote. The grandmother reporting name calling and degradation by Proudfoot. Law enforcement's reports, I can't say that. I can't say the next thing either. And DCS own formal determination that Sebastian was at imminent risk of removal. That's per the documents. Constituted overwhelming evidence that this child was not safe. DCS ignored all of it. Because what has to happen is Sumner County needs to get off their ass and give it to them. Okay. So it's not, yeah, Seth is saying this, but Seth is not saying the things that are in quotes. right? We have direct quotes of the things Sebastian said. We have direct quotes from what Katie said to CPS. We have direct quotes of what Chris said to CPS. We have direct quotes of what the mandated reporters, teachers, doctors who made the claims that Sebastian told what he told. So the Seth has those CPS documents. And if you remember, whenever Seth and Tony and them, they said, if you've seen the CPS documents, and especially as well what he said to his doctors, which it's now coming out, you couldn't sleep, right? Or something. I can't remember what they said directly. Some of us have, maybe one or two of us have known some of this. So, direct quotes from these documents. And now there's going to be depositions by people in CPS, people in law enforcement, maybe CP and KP. And, you know, you can't lie in a deposition. The whole thing was about to blow up wide and they shut up Sebastian. I don't know. I think there was a lot of things going on in this home. And I think CP and KP were having marital trouble. And they were about to split, in my opinion. And because of Sebastian. Because I think, in my opinion, CP was ready to move on to wife number 6 if something didn't happen. Oh, of course he's aware of this. Absolutely. He's aware of this, and I'll just say more stuff that has not came out. A lot more stuff. A lot more stuff. They do, but they can get their ass in trouble too. You can lie under oath. People do lie under oath, but you can get your ass in trouble too. Okay. What page am I on here? One second. All right, guys. I am going to end it here for tonight. We'll do a part 3 tomorrow. We're going to do a part 3 tomorrow. It is 2:30 and I need to go to bed. Like, I seriously need to go to bed, y'all. I'm still not even like, I was more tired earlier than I am now. It's really, really bad. Holy moly, super trolly. Where you been, girl? I haven't seen you since 1976 and 7 years ago. Love you, Spirit. I'm so proud of Seth. Hey, Spirit. I'll message you here in a little bit. I'll show you. I'll talk to you about something. On this case. Sebastian was absolutely failed. He was absolutely failed. And I am glad Seth has filed this 1,000%. And you know, all the parents should want justice. And Sebastian found, right? Justin, do something to arrange a GoFundMe for Seth. And no. Nope. Sorry. No GoFundMes. No nothing like that on YouTube. Hell no. I don't do the GoFundMes. I don't mess with any of that. Not on YouTube, baby. Not on YouTube. I learned that when there went my damn thing. I learned that when I first started YouTube. I raised money for a mother. I was called the scammer, everything. The fucking cash went straight to her. I still called a scammer. No way. That's okay, Deb. You needed some rest, girl. It's, you know, most people are asleep at 2:25 in the morning. Deborah. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Deborah, listen. Start where I start reading the documents. It's a lot to digest, but when you hear it, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Your rooster's going to be cockadoodle-dooling at Kiki. Listen, Kiki's rooster is always cockadoodle-dooling, might I add. And hold on, I'll show you. Why is it not doing it? 1 second. Kiki, do you mind if I show your cockadoodle-doo? Is Kiki's beautiful cockadoodle-doo. I've never done one of those. Kiki, yes, you have done a cockadoodle-doo. Ma'am. Yes, you have. You got kids. That's a beautiful Rhode Island red. Look at me being so country. I told you I'm a country boy. Isn't that a Rhode Island red? That's a Rhode Island red chicken. Rooster. Okay. I'm a country boy. I was born a coal miner's daughter. I need a wake up call. Remember those? I don't. Thinks he's so big. You know something, Kiki? All the cockadoodle-doos think they're big. All of them do. You know. All right, guys. I have no doubt who is responsible for this. Now, I'm not going to say someone did this and didn't do this. All I say is I have a lot of questions that their story, KK's story, does not make sense. It does not make sense. It never did make sense. The behavior never made sense. What was going on before in that house concerning. I'm making you blush, aren't I, Kiki? Kiki's a preacher's daughter. Hey, Summer, good to see you. CP did. Kim, you know, I believe Sebastian is this case. I have literally given so much time, energy to this case, as so many people have, but I have dug on this case, and I found out I broke a lot of information on this case, a lot. About, you know, Edgar not being alone that night, about the drive he was on, and with someone else. I've just a lot of things, and something's off. Thank you for giving me that. Yeah, people, you know, I think with this case, it's very toxic because there are people that just absolutely can't stand Seth, and thinks like he is just the most, you know, for, you know, something he did on YouTube, or, you know, might have said something on YouTube. And listen, I always say, and this goes for Katie and Chris too, we, you know, when we are introduced to them, it's not at their best. It's definitely not at their best. But I am really more concerned about what happened before Sebastian went missing, not Seth up yakking, you know, maybe being inappropriate about something like he's done before or whatever. I really care what happened before Sebastian went missing, and what led up to him going missing. And there's no such thing as anyone perfect. None of us are. YouTuber, I should be going live Friday or Saturday this weekend or next, because I know, oh my God, I want to be there for that. I want to be there for that spirit. I know Stacy had his thing, some news that came out with Stacy. Was it yesterday or day before? My days are mixed up. Thank you for covering Michael's case. I need to cover Michael's case as well. It's been so much lately. It's been incredible. Just so much going on. Man, did you see about the 16 children in Ohio? Oh my God. Most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life. Kiki, I had a taco last Saturday. I will go to the darn supply for wormer if it breaks loose. Oh, you're talking about that lettuce or whatever stuff. My days are a blur. My sister's very, you know, oh, rage. Fuck cancer. Fuck cancer. Fuck it. I hate it. Go to hell, cancer, where you belong, and never, ever return. It's bad. Did you see the pictures? It is very prominent. It's very prominent. And listen, Seth moved here moved to Tennessee because of his son. And the way I think about, just the way I picture it, I picture Sebastian and Seth against the world. You know what I mean? Like, they were just the two of them, and that they just had each other, in my opinion. And that's the way I think of it. And I just could never stop supporting Seth. I could wring his neck sometimes, and he could wring mine sometimes. I know he could. But I could never stop supporting him. I could never. Could never. I was one of the first people on YouTube to speak about Sebastian. Josh from the lab, Trevor was number one. Josh, Smiley, and myself. We were the first four to speak about Sebastian on YouTube. And it ignited into World War VI. Just, I didn't think it could get worse than Summer's case. Yeah, it did. It did, because people have very strong feelings on the parents. It was either Team P-Foots or Team Seth, right? And that's just what it is on YouTube, you know. That's what it is on YouTube. But I'm really trying to let everyone have their opinion on this, even if I wholeheartedly disagree. Let them have their opinion. It's a free country. I was married to a CP and they destroy lives. Girl, stand in line. There's 5 or 6 with Mr. Edgar Amos. Mr. Edgar Amos. Yeah. Let's oh my God, look at Chris. Is that Chris? So gay right there. I sound like a gay Blanche Devereaux there. Oh my God. Look at Chris. Is that Chris? The gay Blanche Devereaux. I could not believe that was Chris, because he changes his looks so much. I sound like a gay Blanche Devereaux there. Oh my God. Look at Chris. Is that Chris? I've always done that. I'll go up real high with my voice. It's a Southern thing. It's really a Southern thing. We'll go real high. Like, you know. So, people's like, that's not Chris in chat. We were playing that. That's not Chris in chat. And I'm like, listen, he's mullet maxing right now, as Queen would say. He's mullet maxing. Yeah. That was Christopher. I think you made me that, Spirit. You was the one that told me about that, actually. You was the one that told me about that. You was like, Justin, you've got to play your reaction. Because I didn't even think nothing about it. I never even thought nothing about it. I didn't think I sounded, I mean, I know I sound ridiculous, but I didn't think I sounded that ridiculous. And you were like, no, you got to play this. There was a big debate in this. Yes. About the pumpkin being Chris or not. Yes. Because we hadn't seen him in ages. Right? Especially when we, yeah. Man. Gosh. It's crazy. A mullet maxing. Yeah. I spit out my tea when you said that. I was shocked. Yes. He was giving plus size with the mullet. No offense. I am Pat, though. Girl, me too. Me too. I might have made an image of eyes and a pumpkin. Oh, you sent that to me. I still have that. I still have that, Spirit Seeker. I have that in my canvas somewhere. You sent it to me. Do you know the mullet? Yeah. Do you know the mullet man? The mullet man who lives on Stafford Court? I hate that he wears our Tennessee orange. Yeah. No. Yeah, it's a free country. It's a free country. So, is what it is. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for being here. I do appreciate you. If you are just kind of getting here and you can't sleep or whatever, go back and listen to when I start reading it. Maybe fast forward a little bit because it doesn't get to maybe like 20 minutes in, and you're going to be shocked about what CPS quotes said, doctors or whatever quotes, parents, step parents quotes, neighbors quotes as well. Oh, I agree, Spirit. I agree. I fell asleep for a bit. Well, gorilla. Sassy. I'm not just saying it, but like these kind of lives that I do. Well, I mean, it's late, so I don't got a lot of people in chat, but these are like real deep dives that we go into, and it's a little bit monotonous, but it's really important if you like really want to know about who said what Sebastian said, what Sebastian's own words. All right, guys. Yeah, go after I played the video. I played like this video in the beginning. You've probably already seen it. Fast forward that. And then I compare some of the documents with what CP and KP said on some videos, and then compare them to the filings with the quotes. Now, it's very good. I'm so excited you're on late. I was able to catch you in chat. Missed you all so much. I know, it's good. So good to see you, Spirit. So good to see you. I know you're a night out. I'm never on this late, like ever. But I've like literally slept 2 hours in 2 days. It's weird. I don't know what's wrong with me. I could not sleep last night. Tossed and turned and like, you know how sometimes like when you're in bed and you just can't get cool, like your body is just producing heat. Like, I like my bedroom with the air conditioner set on morgue. Cold. Ice cold. I want it to look like The Exorcist when you come in my bedroom. Breath. I could not get cool last night, and so I would just flop and flip and flop and flip. Could not get cold. And so I couldn't sleep. I'm actually going to be in Tennessee in the not too distant future, and hopefully I'm going to get together with them and see them. I love these. I adore them. They are as the I get emotional about it, but they are truly the best family you could ever meet. I saw the company Coldest makes an $80 cold pillow. Really? See, now that's a whole nother thing with me. I like a flat pillow. I can't sleep on a fluffy pillow. I cannot sleep on a fluffy pillow. I don't want to sleep like my neck, like up here. It hurts my neck and my back. I need a thin pillow. Thin pillow. I don't like the memory foam pillows. I need two. Make it make sense. But I can't have one big pillow. I need two really thin pillows, and I kind of layer them. I want the cheapest. I need a $5 pillow. $5 pillow. That's all I need. And I want it to be smashed. Pancake. Is that what they're called? Pancake pillows? I just need a cheap pillow. I've bought very expensive pillows. Everybody else in my house has expensive pillows. Well, decent expensive pillows. I don't go crazy, but I need the $5 pillow at Walmart that there's this big rack of them and you just pull them out. Those are the pillows I need. Justin, I turned my heater on because my daughter has the air on 72. 72? That's a stinking sauna. I block off the vents and turn my little heater on. 72. Yeah. That's a sauna. A blue whale pillow? Are you calling me a blue whale, Ohawk? I've never heard of it. Remember your Subway clip? My body aches, longs for that song. Stand clear of the closing doors, please. You've asked about that before, Sandwich. You've asked about that before. And you're gonna laugh your ass off, but I think I have it pulled up on my Canva right now. Let me see if it'll play. I think this is it. Let me refresh it.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Oh, I don't got the song. Oh, there we go.
My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
I forgot about that. I just happened to have all my videos pulled up right there. Hey, Sandwich, you got an exclusive tonight. I probably just fucked up every bit of my monetization, though. You owe me, girl. I don't care. It'll be all right. My body aches. Period. All right, guys. Justin's fun editing skills. Yeah. Never forget. Magic Mike song. All right, guys. Holy shit. You do deserve dinner, girlfriend. 30 mother chicken months. Lord have mercy on a country queen. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Spirit seeker. Get you an all-you-can-eat buffet. How about that, girl? Now I need to go what Josh is talking about tonight. Is Josh live? Y'all go over to the Lab After Dark. He's in California. So it's y'all Californians are 3 hours behind. Oh, thank you, Kimmy. Thank you so much, honey. I appreciate you very, very much. It's very sweet. Thank you so much, honey. Very kind of you. Really appreciate you. Very, very much. Thank you for that support, and thank you for that very kind compliment. I'm getting old. I'm getting old. We're all getting old. It just is what it is. I'm trying to embrace it. I'm really trying. Oh no, I'm 167. 67. What did YouTuber say? I will always love you. Yes, buffet, please. All right, guys. I've said goodbye like 742 times already. But I'll say it again. Not old, stop that. You know, I just had my birthday. Just had it. And I'm really, really fortunate. We're all really fortunate to whatever age we've made it to, because many are denied that. Many are denied. Sebastian, Summer Wells, Jack and Lily Sullivan, Michael Vaughn. Many are denied that. And that is what I really try to focus on. That's right. That's what I say at the end of every live. You only get so many, not spins, trips around the sun. That's what I say now. You're saying imprinted in my mind. Yep, imprinted in my mind as well. That's why I say it. Because you really only do get so many trips around the sun. I've worked in funeral homes. I have volunteered for hospice. I've seen a lot. And life is very precious. Very, very precious. We all get caught up in the small things too. Sometimes you need reeled back. We all do. Yay, Carol, that's awesome. So much knowledge you have. What Miss Carol say? Thank you, Sassy. I don't know what Carol said. All right, guys, I'm going. Love you all. Appreciate you guys. Get some rest, everyone. Good night. Lord willing, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take good care of yourselves. Love your family. Love your friends. Love each other. You only get so many trips around the sun. Good night.